Hello, good people. Welcome to the First Prince of Talk podcast, hosted by yours truly, Timber. And before we get much into our episode for the day, please make sure you do follow and subscribe to our YouTube channel at the First Prince of Talk podcast, as well as Spotify, Apple, and Google podcast for more amazing episodes and more amazing conversations like these ones. So yeah, be sure to help our community grow by following our pages. Let's get to it. Um, Growing up, it's something we all have to go through, irregardless. But how one grows up actually depends on the person. Like for instance, today it's very specific because it's we are going to look at growing up through the perspective of a guy. Joining us today is somebody who loves traveling. Recently been to Namibia as well. So yeah, we have a very interesting and beautiful conversation up ahead with our beautiful guest, Warren Kosa. And how are you doing?
Doing great. And how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. So tell us about your trip. You were out of the country recently. So how was it?
So, one thing I'll tell you is that it was unforgettable.
Yeah.
I will never forget that experience. It was for the books. It was for the books. And yeah, I mean, I can tell you everything that happened there, but definitely one thing I'll tell you is that Namibia is the destination.
So with traveling, you know how now you see you on Instagram, you always somewhere, and even today you even mentioned that you have a trip coming up. So how did that actually start? That thing of you loving to travel, or is it something you just grew into loving, or was it just always a part of you?
To answer that, I think definitely traveling is one of my coping mechanisms. We work to travel,
Okay.
and after working to travel, you need to go and travel so that you can be able to save money to go back to work again so you can travel. And we go through a lot, like work has a lot of demands and all of that. And mentally, you go through the most in terms of work. So one of my coping mechanisms after working too hard and after saving and all that, I travel to escape that so that I can come back to work again, so I can travel again.
So
yeah,
that sounds a bit
it's a circle.
yeah. But also going into that, I'm sure our listeners will be wondering, okay, what do you actually do in terms of work? Since it allows you to travel this much and we're getting to see beautiful places through your lens. And how is that though? What do you actually do in terms of?
So I'm currently in events management and sales. So the sales part now allows me to travel because I need to know a product before I can sell it. So that's why I get to be traveling either to see a wedding venue, either to see a certain destination, and then I can talk to people about it so that we can sell that product so that they can buy into it. So currently I'm into
That's
sales.
a good day. So, we speaking like in terms of how our conversation will be like today, we're getting to see, growing up per se, because it's one of the things that, we constantly evolving, we're constantly growing. And I just want you to take us back or what you think of it in terms of, okay, through your school life, Yabona, how is that and what role do like parents or even peers play into shaping this person that we are seeing today?
To start with, I was born out of wedlock. I was born in that term called teenage pregnancy, but that did not give me any life that I didn't want. So I used that to my advantage to make sure that out of all those big terms that people will say, I'm not doing so and so or XYZ because of my background. I turned things around and took the positive out of it. Having young parents now allowed me to be as educated as I am right now because my parents understand these things. They want to invest in it. Having young parents has allowed me to explore a lot of avenues like business, like traveling, like you mentioned. They are also learning some of the things from me. And I think growing up and becoming who I am now, that it all comes back from the fact that I got the right parents. I was raised right. And out of everything that I've mentioned, I still want the best and the positive life for myself.
Yeah, which is, yeah, that's something that's very true,
Yes.
And in terms of, getting now, do you believe maybe in terms of guys and girls, it's different in terms of, okay, now here's the situation right here. Because I mean, in most cases, put it in society, let me just put it like that. Society, like men are supposed to always have it correct. Men are always supposed to have it right. And it's been Health Awareness Month in June. So, like, men, we hardly get that space where now, okay, this is what I'm going through. This is how I do things. So, do you believe for women, it's actually different, or for men, it's different? Or is it the same setup for women?
Well, it's not the same because
Yeah.
women are likely to be more close to their moms.
Yeah.
They spend more time with their moms, either doing household chores like cooking, cleaning, and washing. And between that, that's where they get to be attached to their moms and get to have conversations. And then it now looks like it is not difficult for their mom and the daughter to bond and to talk about things. Well, when it comes to gents,
Yeah.
it's very difficult for a boy child to be very close to their dad because normally men don't do anything at home. So we do not have like a certain activity that attaches us together with the father. Then you get to have that bond to be able to have conversations, to be close and all those things. But I still feel like there's room for that.
Okay, yeah.
I am a boy child living with my mother. We are the only two, and I don't live with my father in the same house. But I still use that advantage to say, she's a woman, I'm a man. We try to get each other to understand each other, the different roles and all that, and still give her the space as a mom to listen to me. And I also give her the space as a mom and to me as a son to listen to her and her perspective of life and all that.
Yeah, no, I get you. Also speaking of that, the role that fathers play when it comes to shaping our thinking or how the men we become, like with the certain stages in our life that we go through. Firstly, the most common one, puberty, right? Puberty, we go in it differently because for women and for men, it's the same thing, but it's different. So how do you actually deal with it? And what do you think the roles of a father are supposed to be in that whole situation right now?
Okay. I've recently created a concept under my business, the Kalola Show, where a father and a son go on a date and a mother and a daughter go on a date.
Wow.
So in that whole concept, it's now creating a room for the father to do their role to their son, having to be given an opportunity to have conversation, for the son to be able to tell the dad that now I'm growing beards. How do I maintain them? You see, the daughter also gets a chance to say, look, mom, I'm now going into my cycles. How do I keep clean? How do I keep that? How do I calculate that? And all those kind of vibes. So the role of a father to their son, I think in simple terms, you need to be the example, to be the bigger picture in front of your son and do the right thing so that your son gets to learn from what you're doing. I was reading a book sometime where they were mentioning, the author was mentioning that a man had two sons, and this man was actually like alcoholic, to put it like that.
Okay.
But the two sons, one decided that I don't want to be like my dad, and the other one decided that I want to be like my dad. So the example thing now comes as a figure to their life and what they now get to become in the future. So definitely that role which the fathers are playing in their sons, definitely the example which the father is setting to the son.
Yeah. So when we see that, fathers play a very good role, or let me just say, a very important role in the development of the child. Now it comes in, okay, you are in school, right? You with your peers. This one comes from a place where maybe their fathers are present, their whole parents are present. This one, do you believe that also in terms of forming such friendships or relationships with people, it differs in terms of, okay, this one, I'm from a household where all my parents have been present, and then do they actually see life differently, or is it what's your take on that? I'm really wondering.
So, well, you mentioned about forming friendships or these peers.
Yeah.
I think at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what kind of a friendship or relationship you form with your peer, because both of you guys can learn from each other.
Very true.
You can learn from each other. One that is having a present father will definitely teach you something good from what they are learning from their father. And then someone who doesn't have a present father can absorb and learn from that one so that they themselves can actually become a better father in future, for an example. So I have friends that live with their father in their homes. I've already mentioned that I don't live with my father at home. I live with my mother. But I'm learning from them. I'm learning how they call each other like 20 times in a day. Where they just pick up their phone, Dad, I'm going to Johannesburg for the first time. Please tell me where not to go and where to go. You see all those kind of things. While other people do not have that luxury. It's luxury. Yeah. So, but I'm learning that whenever I become a father, even though I can't do that now, or I don't have that luxury, I think I need to do better I need to be that present father. I need to be groomed in that manner that my children will now have that kind of luxury, which friend of mine who has a present father is experiencing. You see, so definitely when you choose your peer, it doesn't matter the background of your friend or your background. When you guys come together, you're now forming a team and you're going to learn from each other.
Yeah. Well, that's very true. You know, we take a lot from the people we meet. We take a lot from each other, like you said. So it also goes back to the thing when it comes to community. You know, I'm not sure what's the saying. A child is raised by the community.
Yeah, it takes a village to raise a child.
Yeah, that one. So it's like, okay, do you believe that community actually they do play a very good role in terms of now here's a child who's from a background where the father is not there specifically, and then you feel like, okay, does the community do certain things to kind of bridge that gap, or is it still something we need to work on?
So I didn't mention my studies, but I'm actually a qualified community development practitioner. And I think that's a very perfect line to answer that. Communities and the community in it, they play a very vital role in raising and modeling a certain behavior to such a case. So you'll know from our villages, those of us that are from a village, whoever you meet on the street, you still call them mama, you still call them papa.
Exactly.
So if you're coming from a home where papa is not there, there's still a papa on the road which you call as papa or as a father. And you can still learn from them. And you know that from our community, it's very easy that your neighbor has access to your home in terms of support and anything that you need from your neighbor as this whole community thing. So if your neighbor is a present father with children, they normally absorb or adopt you as their neighbor, and then they start giving you that chance to actually learn from them, to raise you and all that. And your mother, who's a single mother, will probably use the neighbor dad to come and reprimand you if there's something which you're doing that is not right. Because she will know that there's a father figure that was supposed to be into that house, and you'll definitely listen to that man's voice when you need to be reprimanded or something like that. So definitely community is playing a very big role in that. I recently learned that the based on true story.
Okay.
There's a gentleman that wanted to go pay lobola, but his father was not present growing up. But remember, when you go and pay lobola, you need your father and the representative from your father's home to be there.
Yeah.
There were men that stepped up from that community who go stand in that gap to pay lobola for that man. So they were sent as representatives. So that's where you get to choose your pastor, your village leader, your neighbor, who will actually come into your house and then go and represent you as you go pay lobola. Community, definitely, I love it. I love that concept. I think it's working very well to actually bridge that gap in raising you as a son or as a man that you need to become in the near future.
Yeah, which is, Yona, it's something that's actually good for in those kind of situations. So we really need that. So, we are growing, like I'm saying. There's now we are forming our own communities, right?
Yes.
I want to go into, the state of living now. Okay, we grow up in areas where, everyone and all that. And now we're getting older, we're moving into suburbs, we're moving into towns. Is that sense of community still the same as in like where we from or now? Because in most cases now it's like when we were there, the suburbs or estate or where everyone's just
living their life.
Yeah, nobody's gonna be
Mind your own
like
business.
So is it that the case? Is it changing in a sense or?
Well, now with the fact that you are building your own community, so I think if you move into urban areas, you move into estates and all that, even though other people are minding their own business, you'll have definitely built your own community to say maybe a colleague from your work who's older than you who's living in the same area can be someone you can depend on as your closest community to actually bridge the gap or to actually form what we have been raised into from the villages. So I don't think it's changing because how you were raised and the systems which you were raised from definitely built up when you now move into urban areas. Yeah. You cannot be living in the same estate, but you still have someone you can call that. Look, we're not home. Here's my access code to my place. Please go and assist my child. And all that, please go receive my delivery and all those things. So that sense of community which you have been raised from, which you also build up when now you grow up and now moving into these urban areas.
Yeah. That's a very powerful thing because, like you were saying, they instill those things while we're there, and then we just grow with them and we carry on.
Yes.
Yeah, which is where I wanna go also back into careers, right? The career choices one gets to now make in terms of, okay, this is what I want to be or this is what I want to do. Do you believe that, okay, like we were saying, moms are always there in most cases. Do you believe that if fathers were that present, it would have been like maybe a different route from that, or it will still be the same even if they were there?
Well, it depends on which family and the setup it would be.
Yeah.
If both mom and dad were there and how they now view you as a child and your decisions into the future. Taken back into a story from the Bible where there were twins that had their father and mother together, and that's Esau and Jacob. They were both men, but one was closer to the mom and was more interested in their chores or the things which the mom was doing. And then the other one, Esau, was more interested in what the father was doing and was more involved in what his father was doing. So at the end of the day, I think when it comes to that, it also helps you to say, when you come together as a family, mom and dad, it all depends on how they want to support you in the decision which you take it. If, for an example, the mother and the father are both teachers, I'm sure they will,
So what do you
inspire you to also become a teacher or discourage you to go a different route to say, but we already teachers who are already in the education space. Can't you try the medical one or the engineering one so that everything is now in our house? So definitely, I think it all depends on the kind of a family system that you're coming from and how they support your life choices and life decisions. And then it goes like that. Like for me, the career which I wanted, even though I didn't go that one, my reasoning was very stupid.
Okay,
I'll tell you if you ask me. I always thought I'm not gonna be good as a public figure or someone who's in the front line working for people. And the reason for that is because I'm the only child at home. So choosing a career, I thought I want to be at the lab, only working with whatever I'm working with. And they just bring samples to me, I check what I'm checking and then submit it, then I'm done. But my perspective changed when I got into university and I was actually registered into the social sciences space. And then as I was studying and getting to get this, I was like, I can do this. It doesn't matter that I was coming from a family of being an only child. And now I'm into this space, events, 100 people in front of me, community.
Constantly dealing with people.
Constantly dealing with people, dealing with clients and all that. And it worked for me even though I was coming from one child from my mom kind of a setup. So you see,
I do actually get you honestly, and like you were saying that, and then now you get to be in that space where you have to make that decision for yourself. So I wanna also be like, in terms of guys' name, do you actually feel like we have such spaces where because like I said in the beginning of our conversation, there's a lot we're actually dealing with, and it's rare for a guy to just break down and just talk and do all of that. Do you believe, Wuti, do we have such spaces, or do we have to create our own spaces for that instance?
I think you asked a very good question. Spaces. As now we're growing up, we talked about building your own community, your own safe space and all that. Two things I think it's very important that as a man or as a guy, as you address it, you develop your own coping mechanisms. There's people that are into this jogging, marathon, hiking kind of things. If you feel like you are not that kind of a person that it's easy for you to open up and all that, I suggest that you have a coping mechanism that supports a good mental health to you.
That's very, very important.
You have that kind of a coping mechanism. I mentioned earlier about traveling. If you feel like there's too much in your plate and you just need to declutter and breathe, I suggest traveling as one of the things which you can create as a safe space for yourself. Also, as we grow into these men that are positive, facing life and all that, try doing the what do we call this? Therapy. Yeah, I know we were not raised into that. We come from villages and all that. Therapy is also good for men. Have a therapy day for yourself and your therapist. Choose the right therapist. Spend on your mental health and all that, and create the safe space for yourself. To say, I'm going to go for therapy. I know I might not be comfortable to share to another man at home or to your partner or to your children or whatsoever. But you can have someone who's qualified to actually help you go through what you're going through. And it's very important that is part of your coping mechanism and your safe space to actually talk about what you're going through.
That's one. I guess a lot of men, it's very difficult for men to go through that because, like, how we're looking at this whole thing, men, it's more like for a man to come out and speak out about his mental health, it's like it's overlooked.
Yeah,
Let
true,
me just say that
true,
it's
true,
overlooked
true.
because no, man, Pele, you're supposed to have it all figured out. Like I said, you're
Yeah.
supposed to know 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So is it because now society is the role it plays, right? When it comes to men actually coming out and being like speaking out
Yeah,
about
yeah.
what they're actually going through and all that. That society actually plays such a huge role in keeping men in that box. Which is,
Yeah.
I cannot be coming out here and be like, "Ish, yo, my friend, this and that and that and that," because
And
of
the way we
the
perceive as
society is
strong.
saying,
Yeah,
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 so so yeah, it's something else
yeah.
actually. Though wish that nay, it goes to what I wanna be into. Let's talk also relationships. Nay, it's like now I'm a man. I can't deal with a certain things. I can't. I'm not prioritizing my mental health. Let me just put it there. Of course, it leads to trauma. So, is it now? Do you believe that it also brings a thing that it calls trauma bonding?
Yeah.
That you end up maybe being with someone based on okay, maybe they provide that safe space for me. Maybe they just. But do you also believe it can actually be to that extent?
I guess so, because the reason why you get into a relationship is that relationship is for two,
Yeah.
and you want now to be with someone that you guys can now make up a team. So if you're a team, you need to communicate, you need to speak out, you need to feel safe with the person that you're getting into that relationship into, and definitely there are aspects which you follow or look for before you decide you're getting into a relationship with that person. So use that opportunity that you're in a relationship
Yeah.
to get your partner to be your social worker, to be your psychologist, to be your safe space, and that will work for you because you two are now a team. Your partner needs to know what you're going through. Your partner needs to give you that opportunity for you to vent, to open up, and ease yourself from whatever you're going through. After work, check in. How was work? What
Yeah.
happened? Are you okay? And all those
Very
kind of
important.
things, and that will work for you. And you can also use that opportunity that what this relationship is working for me, and because meaning like you're having like a free
The
therapy
therapist.
sessions in
That's
that
true.
relationship.
Without even paying for it.
You
But
see,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So it also goes back to now the parents, because like we're saying, yes, as a child, now I'm facing whatever I'm facing. Do we also believe that parents as well, it's advisable for them to also go through that so that they can also reflect on, okay, maybe me not being there for my actual child is actually affecting them in so many ways. Because it's like, fathers per se, because that's what actually the whole conversation is about. Fathers, they get to be like, no, but Nami are grown, now you'll be fine. So do you believe that that also needs to take place in their side as well?
So I want to get your question: is it based on the father and the son, or based on them as parents?
Based on them experience, let's just start there.
Yeah. So, well, I think we as sons, and now that we have grown, evolved, looking at things differently and learning from others, let's teach our parents.
Oh,
Let's
yeah.
teach our parents, teach them to sit down, teach them to give you time to listen to you, to validate your feelings, because they did not have that opportunity, remember, when they were growing up. Most of them are coming from polygamous families where the father was just moving from one wife to another and did not care what's happening with you as their child. So I think now, even if it's not about the son to the father, but them as a parent as a whole, or to their partners, mom and dad, teach them that it's actually okay that you guys open up to each other. It's actually okay for you guys to give yourself time to create safe spaces for each other. You as a parent also have to give yourself time to listen to us as a children, and then we have that open communication so that we can actually help each other grow, solve that big problem, listen to each other, work together to actually achieve a certain goal which we want. It's a good mental health. So let's teach them.
Yeah, that's because I always say parents, they give you what they know is best.
Yeah.
They give you what that's all they need. Like what you're saying.
Mm.
Okay, we have to have that open conversation with parents. We just need to sit
Mm.
down and So now it's the final stage of now I'm being a man. I started working. I started doing this. My career is booming. Is there an actual scale in which now I can know that, you know what, I'm actually fine. I'm actually doing well. I'm actually, what's this? My mental states.
Okay.
I've actually made peace with a lot of things. Do we get to know that, or is it an ongoing process as we grow? Like,
I think definitely it's an ongoing process.
yeah.
Because, I mean, whether you're 40, you still need your dad, you still need your mom. So even though you get to a state where you feel like, no, I've got everything covered, but it still becomes an ongoing process for you to still run back to your father, you still run back to your mother, you still run back to an older person. There's a part in the Bible where it says that when you get to the crossroads, you need to ask the old people, you need to ask the experienced people. So even though your parents might have passed, unfortunately, but you will still have someone who's a father figure, who's an older person from you, where even though you get to a good mental state and you feel like everything is covered, definitely you still have to get to that point where you still reach out to someone for help.
Yeah, because asking help, that's one of the most important things, actually.
Yeah.
And, like we were saying, being a guy, it's something that's looked as, perceived as, no, you have to be strong, have to have it figured out. So when you get to that point now, you have to ask for that assistance.
Yeah.
It becomes like well, no, I do get that, and I just love how this actual conversation is like. Now that I'm actually reflecting on some things, and I kind of
bring it on, bring it on.
So it's one of those. So one last thing that I want to touch, the confidence part. There are people that would just walk in a room and walk in a space, and then it's just
pick up those things.
So is that sometimes something that was put on by maybe my parents or at home or whoever I'm surrounded with, or it's something that you just have to tell yourself, you know what, this is what I'm gonna be, this is how I'm gonna perceive and see life. What's your
I think there are families that are grooming confidence in their children. Well, unfortunately, there are other families that do not know that they have to do that to their children. But thank God, or luckily, we've got an institution or institutions that help us grow that aspect of our life. For an example, the school. That unprepared oral presentation that the teacher is asking you to do in class, it is part of them grooming you to be your confident self. Right, why you get that? That opportunity you get at church when they call you on a Saturday evening that tomorrow you are our MC. It's also creating an opportunity for you to be groomed to be a confident self. So if your family is not giving you that platform, please use the other platforms and avenues to grow your confidence. Well, if your family is giving you that platform to grow your opportunity, to give you the opportunity to stand, to grow your confidence and all that, that's also beautiful. Because now when you go to school, you already have that platform from home. When you go to church, you've already been given that platform at home. So either way, if you're not given or given, definitely use all these avenues to actually grow into be that confident self and stand up for yourself and be able to do as you need to do or as you expected to do, bringing that confidence into life.
No, that's actually some words. I'm just so glad, we get to really have this conversation. So, there's a lot of people that can actually take from it. And, before we just close it off, I want to know, what's that one piece of advice you would give to your younger self? You understanding that now growing up, becoming this young adult, and becoming the man that you are right now, what's that one piece of advice you would just give to your younger self?
Okay. So that advice, um, that advice would definitely come from what I live with now. What I live with now is that I want to be a representation of a dream realized.
Yeah.
So to my younger self, I think we've done so well to be the representation of a dream realized. If someone has ever dreamed to be the first graduate at home, you are that representation.
Yeah.
If you ever dreamed to be the first person to live abroad, you are that representation. If you ever dreamed that you want to be the first one to bring a double story in your family or that village, you are that representation. And I think my younger self and the advice I would give myself is that be the representation of a dream realized.
Oh, that's amazing. You know, thank you once again for really being part of this episode. You know, it took us 30 hours to actually have this one, and I'm just so glad and thank you for really making it and making it a reality. And so to everyone who was actually listening and watching our show, we thank you so much for your watching, and may you please share and also comment, subscribe, and like our episode. So thank you. From now on, cheers.